Indicators, patterns in the market. That is something you're always looking for. How about making highs for the week on a Friday? We've already done that. Will PCE and all this data coming out at 10 a.m. rock the boat? I don't think so. We're going to talk some earnings. We got some big earnings movers. We got some offerings coming out of the blue. We got an S&P ad tonight. I wonder who that's going to be. Special guest, Tony Pawlak at 8:35, and we got a lot to talk about with Tony stepping up to the plate next week. Folks, it's Friday. It's pre-market prep.
The volatility right now is really incredible.
Wow, look at that consolidation on the upper right chart.
You know what we've seen this earnings season? Some of these expected moves get even more violent. And this is why I have switched my strategy 10 years ago. And if you're chasing, you're in trouble.
Okay, strong close yesterday on those buying balances, continuing up 13 handles at 68.80. The buck right at 99 even, that's up only a few pennies. TLT refuses to participate in this rally, down 15 cents at 88.43. USO down slightly, 71.20. Gold and silver going the same way today. GLD up $1.48. At 388.61, SLV up 82 cents, a lot more on a percentage basis at 52.59. In Bitcoin, not participating, double top in the futures at 94,500. Time to roll over or just a little pause before we head for six figures? Let's bring on Triple D here, who's toughed it out through the week.
Oh, yeah. We just tough things out. We got to trade. The show must go on despite flu bugs or COVID bugs. They just tough it out. So, and the market's toughing it out here too. Bitcoin sell-offs last weekend, all forgotten, coming back. I mean, we're down a little bit on Bitcoin here, but I got to tell you, the momentum from the last few days in Bitcoin really spilled into the other momentum stocks yesterday. You saw nuclear names just exploding higher. Oklo having its best day in a long time, does an offering after, which we'll get to. You saw the quantum names really exploding higher. IONQ had a great day. RGTI, QBTS. It was full risk on yesterday. Now, again, you don't see it as much in the S&P. We weren't up that much in the overall indices, but very much so the momentum trade was really getting some life. And some of these stocks have been really, really beat up. So it's not surprising, that, hey, they're starting to show a little bit of life. Crypto shows a little bit of life, and then it's risk on and all these other things. Now, where do they go from here? That's more of the question to be decided here. Let's get a little word from TradeStation here.
TradeStation, chart, analyze, customize, all-in-one platform. Our sponsored TradeStation. As I mentioned, we're going to be working a lot with TradeStation here in December and for the remainder of the year. Folks, TradeStation, thank you very much for being our sponsor.
So when you have these big pops in stocks like Oklo or IREN, from the other day, these stocks are in cash burn situations. And the company execs are smart. They watch their stock price. And when they get lifts, that is the best time to do an offering because there's all of a sudden demand for your stock again. And, you don't want to sell your stock when it's in the gutter because you're going to end up bringing a really crappy price. You want to sell your stock when it's high. It's buy low, sell high. So, corporate execs are looking at that too. So it's not surprising when you get a lift in a few of these names like IREN 2 days ago and Oklo yesterday, that company will then use that opportunity to raise some cash. And that's what we saw with Oklo last night. They do come out with a $1.5 billion, just grabbing it here, $1.5 billion at the money stock offering. And it's come back a little bit from the lows here, Joe, but we had like 103 last night. So we come back off those lows.
Yeah, the pre-market low is actually 102.30. But what does this say to you about the way the company is thinking about their stock, right? because they didn't jam it down their throat at like 185. I'll never forget
Well, I think they
DraftKings.
did. Didn't they do an offering back
Did
then too?
they?
I can't remember. I don't know. I feel like this isn't the first Oklo offering. So maybe I'm making that up, but I don't feel like I feel like there was one before too. They
But
aren't perfect timers either. None of these are like they don't have a crystal ball to know. But I feel like Oklo did have an offering just earlier this year. I may be wrong. Let me know,
all right,
chat,
we'll
if
have
I'm wrong.
we'll have the chat check on that.
But
But
Oklo does an offering, and then SoFi does one too. So SoFi, which is a retail darling, has a nice little run yesterday. Big pop up, closes right near the highs, and then bang. After hours, same story. They're not a cash burn situation, but they don't make much money. And SoFi comes out with their own $1.5 billion offering. So I don't think we have pricing. We do have the pricing on SoFi this morning. It priced at 2 o'clock this morning, $27.50. Often those levels can act like floors. We do have a catalyst for SoFi because some people are speculating it could get added to the S&P 500 tonight. So I would not be surprised if the SoFi dip gets bought. With that being said, there are lots of candidates for the S&P 500 tonight here, Joel, and we can go through. We're going to get an ad tonight, or at least we speculate we're going to. They never are fully transparent, but we're speculating there's going to be an ad. But I mean, there's a lot of companies on this list. I mean, SoFi, Affirm is a possibility. Carvana is still a possibility as it waits. I mean, there's a lot of candidates here, so it's kind of like a little bit picking a needle in a haystack. And it's not as simple like, well, let's just buy them all. If we get lucky, we get one, because the ones that don't get added often go down. So you have to be like somewhat cautious with, just like blindly going to say, I'm going to buy SoFi. And if it gets added, I'm going to make like 10%. But if it's not, it doesn't get added, I won't lose anything. That's not the case. It probably goes down a bit if it doesn't get added. The
let's
same thing.
talk about the evolution of your trading in that,
Sure.
because that's one thing that is allowed you to have this consistency is that you'll do something, and it works, and then it doesn't start to work, and then you back off, and then it really doesn't work, and you say, I'm not doing it anymore. This has become an exceedingly more difficult trade. Primary reason is you can't get the information. The site goes down, right?
Well, that's a good point too. Like it comes out at 5:15 on Friday nights is usually when they do it. But because the algos are hitting it so continuously, they've had trouble keeping the site up. Like they're just getting ping, 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 pinged. And a lot of times we don't get the information till well after 5:15 because the site goes down. So then it's a scramble. And then it's like, well, who's got the direct connections? And then you see the price exploding as well. Some high frequency traders got a direct connection here and gotten through, and they know that it's the stock. So you see it in the price response before you actually see it on the website. So I mean, I don't know, they have to upgrade their website or do something like that. Maybe one day they will, but they just can't handle the 5:15 traffic. So that's another point here too. But there's so much stuff to think about. I mean, like there's a list. So it's not just SoFi, talking Reddit, Stera Labs, Vertiv, VRT. I don't think MicroStrategy's going. Affirm. I mean, these are all big, well-known names. It could be any of these. So I mean, we could just do 4 or 5 of them and say, okay, maybe we get lucky. But again, I've seen it before where sometimes the ones that don't go in go down 2-3%. So you don't want to like have 4 or 5 of them. 3 of your stocks go down 3-4%. One goes up 8% or 10% because you hit it, and you still lose money. It's a tricky trade. If you really are convicted that it's going to be SoFi, or if you're really convicted it's going to be Affirm, if you're really convicted it's going to be Reddit, I mean, maybe that's a different story. But it's a tough trade, because it's pure, you're gambling. And S&P doesn't tip their hand very much. Like they don't really play it out where, oh yeah, they're adding this one. I mean, think about Robinhood. It was like a year and a half that everybody was speculating on all these Friday nights before Robinhood actually got added. So it's a tricky trade.
And I can remember a couple like Penn Gaming. I remember that. Not Penn, but yeah, Penn got added. And that thing was like 110, 120, 130. and it got added. I don't know if they booted it out after that, but it's a tricky play. And if you're going to try and play it through the options market, they're jacking up
Oh
the
yeah.
premium these stocks
Oh
anyways,
yeah.
and you can't get out till Monday anyways unless you have a capability to trade the stock in the after hours and pre-market. But
It's
we'll get
fun to guess though. So take a guess, Joel. Give me your one pick. Chat, give me your one pick too, because it's fun to do. So we're not saying this is gonna happen. We're saying let's take a shot. Let's take just a guess. I'm not gonna make any trades on it, but let's take a paper trade guess of who you think's gonna be added. I'm gonna go with a firm. That's my pick.
How come?
Again, there could be any of these candidates. So don't at me when it's not a firm here, because
Don't
this is a complete shot in the dark. But we're just for fun doing it. Chat, same thing. Give me your candidate. Who do you think's going to get added to the S&P 500 tonight? Joel, who do you got?
Oh man. One other thing too, folks, for criteria is that they have to make money. What, 4 quarters in a row?
4 quarters in a row. Yeah, they got to be profitable.
Yeah. We got a lot of SoFis in here.
People love SoFi.
Martin Contreras. Hey, Martin, how you doing? Tony. Carmen is going with a company we are not expecting.
We have seen that. I just threw my pen on that. That's how much convicted I was. We have seen that so many times where it's like they got the whole list and then they go right off the board and we didn't even see that one coming. So we see that too. So that's not a bad pick. I like Vertiv too. I was going to go VRT. I couldn't decide VRT or a firm. I was thinking about VRT too. Maybe I'm going to change it. I'm changing my mind. A firm was my instinct, but I like VRT. I'm going to go VRT. That's where I'm going.
What is it replacing?
It could be anything.
Do we know what it's replacing? I should know that. I shouldn't ask a question I don't know the answer to.
What's the question?
Who is it replacing?
I don't know. That's a good question too. Who are we replacing?
Because I don't know. Is there any consistency with going, well, we're taking out a banking company?
It was probably a merger.
Yeah.
Who merged that they're replacing? Do we know?
No, I didn't.
ARES, is that who it is? Or no, that's a candidate to go in ARES.
Yeah.
Let us know who they're replacing if we're thinking about it. It's not WBD they're replacing. Is Warner Brothers in there? Warner Brothers not in there, is it? Maybe it is.
I just looked at the top 11 components, so I really couldn't tell you. But
maybe
trying to think of. I mean, what about you were sticking with this LNG for a long time about that getting added. Cheniere Energy.
Yeah, I know, and I thought Cheniere did eventually. Didn't Cheniere get in finally?
I can't remember.
Cheniere Energy, S&P. We should keep track of this, but you forget. I have the goldfish memory. I feel like Cheniere was just in. Somebody said, "Oh, Cheniere could get in." I thought Cheniere got in. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cheniere didn't get in. I thought it just got in like 3 or 4 months ago. Maybe I jumped that up. Cheniere's still not in. They've speculated Cheniere for a long time. LNG. It might not be in yet. Yeah. So, anyways, that's the story. It's gonna be somebody probably tonight. We don't know who it's gonna be. I like Vertiv. I think that's the best candidate, VRT. But it could be Cheniere if Cheniere's not in yet. They've wanted that for a long time. I've tried to play the Cheniere to go in a few times, and then you lose. Like one day it was down 5% because it didn't go in. Like they killed it. Let's go on. Netflix you just had on the screen. This is the news of the day. So we get the official deal here this morning. Finally, after it feels like all year, Netflix will acquire Warner Brothers WBD for $82.7 billion in cash and stock. They will get 23 and a quarter in cash and another $4.50 worth of Netflix shares, $4.50 worth of Netflix shares. So it goes off the board. WBD trading not higher. Fortunately, there is obviously the Netflix component. But I think it's just, some people were speculating it was going to be a huge premium, and it had just run up. It was $12. It's already up 100%. So it wasn't going to be a huge premium. Finally goes off the board. Netflix is trading down on it here. Maybe get a relief rally after, like it's been weighing on it. Maybe finally get the announcement. They obviously didn't want Netflix to buy the stock because it's been trading down ahead of it on the rumors. Now it's trading down, officially down 3% on the actual announcement here. So It's through 100. What are you doing on your Netflix? We don't care about our WBD at this point.
Um, a couple traders in the S10 room have been trying to, prod me for a bottom in this thing. And I'm like, man, well, you can lead on the low of the move and get stopped out. You can lean on the low of the move and get stopped out. And, it's usually a stock that has a pretty good beta, right? And will move with the market. But, you could just feel the overhang on the stock. Right now, the street is voting that they don't like the deal, that they don't like the deal. The stock's been going down before. You are approaching a death cross here in Netflix.
The dreaded death cross.
Yep. Yep. And I don't know. If you just have to let the dust settle. Now, people are mentioning that there's going to be regulatory concerns. But man, Netflix is slapping a $5.6 billion breakup fee on this. So they gotta be fairly confident about it, right?
You never know. This administration is maybe going to be a little bit easier because we know the Biden administration could get anything approved. They were killing iRobot, like they were killing everything. So maybe it's a little bit different this time. People asking why is it not trading up at 27.75? Well, there's a few things. One, what Joel just said, regulatory concerns. What if the deal doesn't go through? If for whatever reason all these bidders are out and they don't want to push the deal through, WBD's back at $13. That's huge risk. Probably going to go through. Risk Arb's saying it's probably going to go through. The second thing is time value of money. They're saying this deal is going to take 12 to 18 months to close. So you're going to sit around with your WBD trying to pick up your extra $3 here, yet you're going to be sitting with that cash tied up for 12 to 18 months. So, that's only what are we talking about? About a 13% discount from takeout price. Third thing is there's Netflix shares in here. So there's a component of Netflix. So as Netflix goes down, it's going to bring WBD down just a little bit too. Now it's mostly a cash deal, but it will move a little bit with Netflix shares as well. So those are your reasons why it doesn't trade up to 27.75.
Yeah, it's sacred. Making new lows as we speak. You get into a candle like you had back in April. Well, what happened in April? But we know what happened in April. 82.11. I can't put that on the radar. Maybe a weekly will give us a little different perspective. Well, if you're a weekly, you trade off weekly candles, stick your bid out there at 97.31. You just may get hit on it. That was low. That was kind of a nice formation. Where if you're looking right instead of left, at the end of the month, at the end of April, it closed at 97.30. And then the low of the month in the next week was 97.31. So, I'll slap a couple stars on that and see if you can get it $2.50 lower. But the street is voting that they don't like this deal.
Let's go to the earnings parade here. Ulta Beauty looking beautiful here this morning. ULTA trading up substantially on their earnings. This, I believe, is close, if not quite, an all-time high for ULTA. So don't call it a comeback. But when Warren originally nibbled into this, and I believe he did, and then sold it, he got in at a pretty darn good price. It was like $3.50. So I think he was in this, wasn't he, Joel? I'm making that up.
Was it Ulta? Yeah, I think so.
It was. I think he took a little nibble in it. I think he sold it then right away. We're like, oh, Warren's a day trader. All of a sudden, he bought and sold it. Give us the numbers. ULTA.
Big beat. 514 versus 454. On the EPS, sales 2.86 versus 2.72. Raising full year GAAP EPS guidance pretty substantially, $1 on the EPS end, and a little bit more modest on the sales end. So this has been your in the beauty sector. This has been your standout. I was looking last night for Triple D to try and lay out a short here at this triple top here. I don't what the straddle. I have the straddle written down here. The straddle price for this is 41. Oh man, you talk about confluence. Up another $5-6, and you got a triple top, not an exact triple, 372. big level here that's a little bit under the expected move, but keep an eye on that. The all-time high in Alta Beauty is exactly 572.23. So if that was your target, then take your target. It's a lofty level, and it's it's within the expected range here for Alta. Do you
And your
want to go
levels
to
have
it?
been working well. I mean, you gave us the meta level in the STN room yesterday, and we were all wanting to sell that rip. And you gave us, it went a little bit through it. You were
Yeah.
giving us the high of the gap before it, well, the gap down level was 681. It
Yeah.
did get up to 686, so it did blow through it, but there was major resistance up there. And then she did sell off there. So that was a nice level there too. So
It
keep in
was a
mind, I
level
mean,
that
these,
you only saw in the pre-market. That's
yes,
why you have to watch pre-market
yeah,
prep, because you never got a look at that. And if you were looking in, who was it that nailed it at 85? I think they got out of their whole
Dougie
position.
Cass.
Yeah, 685. Dougie.
Yeah, shout out Dougie. Man, it's been a
Yeah.
long time since you've been on the show.
Come on the
Dougie
show,
back.
Doug.
Come on out, come on and tell us about the trade, Doug. 685. He
Yeah.
said he sold it all. So I mean, that's impressive in itself. Like, so I did a little short off of it and caught a little bit of it on that side, but I'm still long in the long investment accounts. So meta,
Yeah.
but did peel back. I mean, it was just too much. I mean, for cost cutting efforts here up that much, that was a little bit the algos getting all antsy in their pantsy and got a little bit too excited. So coming back to where it was kind of makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised that gap eventually fills down to 650, the gap that we just created yesterday. So that is meta. And I don't know if it's the most hated mag. I don't know if it is. That would be a good, like, who is the most hated one? We know Apple's the most loved one. It doesn't go down even on down days. Microsoft, it might be turning into one of the most hated ones. Microsoft, Google's most loved one right now. Nvidia's always kind of loved. Tesla's loved again here and looking not too far and still looking at like it can reach that 500. Amazon's been doing pretty good. I'd say Microsoft is almost, well, Microsoft or Meta, most hated ones, but Meta's on the comeback trail.
I'd have to say Meta.
You
I'd
think
have to
it's
say
Meta?
Meta. Yeah, yeah. The other thing was with the Meta is that you had some confluence here at the 50-day and the 200-day right there, right now. That's where your longer term traders were looking, because I believe the high from yesterday is 76.10, and then you sold off to 660 and hold. These are always tricky moves because you just like. You can't think, well, if it takes out 660, it's immediately going to fill the gap, because what it does, it kind of goes into the gap and then pops up a little bit and then goes into the gap and teases you a little bit. I guess the best example could be is Oracle. Look at this. Oh, there's the gap. Boy, the gap up day low. That was a pretty good number. You got below it, then you went up, and then you started to come in, and eventually you filled the gap and did more to the gap there. In Oracle,
Oracle's doing its pre-earnings run right now. It's coming back. It was oversold, and about 5 days before, and this is a trade that we very much, probably the trade we do the most on Stock Trader Network in the room, is the pre-earnings run trade. And we start looking 5 days before. And lo and behold, when does Oracle report? It reports Wednesday night. When does it start moving? Wednesday, the week before. And it started looking, now it's going, now it's going. I mean, now you just ran up 10% in 3 days. So that's a pretty big move. But they like these pre-earnings run trades. Why does that trade work? Why does the pre-earnings run trade so predictable? Nothing works 100% of the time. But why does it tend to outperform? Well, there's a number of reasons. One, look at the calendar next week. I mean, who's reporting? You got Adobe, Oracle, Chewy, Dave & Buster's, Lululemon. Who stands out like a sore thumb? Oracle. So media is probably going to be talking about it, next week. Like Oracle, what are they going to say? It gets people excited. Two is think about how many shorts made a lot of money here. If you're short and sitting on a whole pile of profits in Oracle, you want to take it through the report with the low bar? I wouldn't. After what they said last quarter and the gap up, so predictable short covering ahead of it as well. People taking their money that, they've been sitting there. Shorts really did well here on Oracle. So that's another reason to think why it's probably strong ahead of the report. Now, does that mean I come and buy at 220 this morning? No, because it just ran up 10%. But if it dips back, maybe we get a little dip intraday to 215, then you start striking again. You look at your opportunities. So when you identify that you want to be long a stock, then you look for a dip to buy. So that's the lesson here. First thing is, okay, identify it. I want to own this company, or I want to trade or buy this company. Then wait for your opportunity and time it. It's not typically the opportunity to buy when the stock goes up 10% in 2 days. You wait for an opportunity. Maybe you were smart. Maybe you bought it 2 days ago. Maybe, that's, and you're sitting on profits here. That's a different story. But, one, look for your, which stock you want to own. Then two, try to time it by buying a dip. That's how I approach it.
Okay, let's
earnings parade continues. DocuSign?
Sure.
I thought the bar was going to be low enough for this one. I thought that they could zoom. I thought it actually would go up on the earnings, and it did, but it didn't go up for long. Give me the earnings there, Joel.
Let's see here. DocuSign. $1.11 versus 92. That looks good to me. Sales 813 versus 807. That looks good to me. Guidance. I mean, you want to call it a raise? I don't know. Doesn't look like a raise to me. Sales guidance raise. I don't know why they have to say that they're raising guidance. I mean, if you're gonna raise guidance. Don't give me the the upper the lower end of the range as a thing. So you did get initial pop. The expected move on this was 7. And you're down 5, so you closed at 70. You didn't get the expected move. Straddle riders they're fighting their way back here. You got up to 74.97, not much there. And then you come down and you got a step down seller right here. 65.5 is the pre-market low. If you're looking for the expected low, $64. That's where it would come in. And then the real institutional interest in this. Oh, this is a good number. I like this. I like the $64 area because under 65, that's where the big boys were picking it up.
I think 64 to 65 is a good level on this thing too. Again, stock disappointed here. You kind of passed a catalyst here. Sometimes they bounce back. It is kind of a value stock. It's a sneaky value stock. People don't think about DocuSign as a value stock, but it kind of is. But, when you get at the earnings event, it sometimes have catalyst exhaustion too after the event. Sometimes it's like, oh, what's to get excited about this? So maybe the name gets forgotten to a certain extent as well. So not a great reaction to the earnings, that's for sure. Talking about a good reaction to earnings, though, Rubric, whatever you want to call it. You call it the Rubik Square. RB, RK. Had a great reaction here, is trading up 18% here this morning. The old Christian Fromhertz, shout out to Christian Fromhertz. This was one of his picks back in the day. RBRK trading up substantially here. Joel.
Substantial beat here. They were supposed to lose 17 cents. They made a dime. Sales pretty good, 350.2 million versus 319 million. And why not raise a little guidance here? Beat earnings and sales estimates. Guidance. Oh, you could drive a truck to that guidance there from losing 50 cents to 44 to losing 20 cents to 16 cents. So really narrowed sales guidance here for a stock that was in the gutter. And we had an expected move of 10. We're up 13. We know what happens when things get above the expected move. They get a little bit messy. Pre-market high comes in at 84.43. I'm not seeing anything.
Holding up well.
Yeah.
There's no signs of rollover central here. The bar was probably pretty low. I mean, you're talking about a stock that was $100 a month ago or two, and down at 65. So the low bar maybe helps here a bit too. Good report. There is some technical resistance up here though. And I've never made a lot of money chasing stocks up 18%, especially in the fade year. As my acronym fade, it's been the fade year. The first 3 months of the year were disaster. Then we rallied, and then we've had the recent momentum sell off. It's kind of been a fade year. So I'm not going to go away from my core strategy and say, let's buy Rubik up 18%. Maybe it continues to go higher, but it'll go without me. Tony Pawlak in the background here, and I have no problem bringing Tony in early because we know everybody loves ticker time with Tony. We also know that Real Life Trading is taking this show over at 2 days for a few days here. So let's go play that special intro here, Joel, and bring in our good friend.
Here he is, Tony Pawlak, owner of Real Life Trading, the Perma Smile. So
he is a Perma Smile. This guy definitely trained under Jeremy Newsom, because Jeremy Newsom is the most positive person you're ever going to meet. And I think some of that has definitely rubbed off on Tony. Always smiling. Life is good. Just enjoying the ride here. We love you, Tony. And it looks like you're having a great morning. How's it going?
Love you guys too. It's having a great morning. You know, the market can punch you in the mouth so many times that it's easy to get down. Like, I've never met more depressed people in my life than those that are trying to learn how to trade or trying to trade.
Yeah.
And so it's like the markets have taught you, like, you just got to find a way to smile. If you can't choose to be happy, nothing's going to make you happy. And if you're trying to let the markets, prove something to you, like if you're trying to find your intelligence through the markets by being right, or I'll be happy when I make some money, or I'm going to be sad when I lose money, it's like, you're going to ride a roller coaster that's going to wipe you out of the game. You just get enough time. So just choose to be happy. So I choose to be happy. So I'm going to keep smiling. So
yeah,
lessons from the market with Tony.
Dennis, it takes a loss better than anybody on Wall Street.
I don't know if I do, actually.
Yeah, you do.
I get mad too. No,
you don't get mad. Yeah, but when you get mad,
I don't panic, but I get mad.
You don't get mad, but you say, what did I do wrong? Like, what can I learn from this? I gotta figure out what I did so I don't do it again. But before we go into extensive ticker time, we've been talking about this for a while, and just the way things are working out, Dennis, Brent, and I are all going to be out next Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, and CPI number. And so we figured who would be best suited, because we have all kinds of different traders and investors here, who would be best suited to take over pre-market prep. And we decided, Tony and Real Life Trading. So, but the thing that got me excited, Tony, is I'm looking at the schedule, because I'm driving Tony crazy, because I'm nervous about this, right? All three of us have never been out. And I see Jeremy Newsom on there. What's going on, Tony?
Yeah, man. Bringing my mentor, Jeremy, here to come hang out with us. It's going to be so much fun, guys, to just hang out with this, bring RLT in, and just have fun with everyone in the whole community for a few days, trading, going over tickers, answering questions. We're going to do whole education hours in the evenings. And pre-market, we're going to be doing exactly what we're doing here, and just, reviewing stuff, finding great opportunities for you all. And it's going to be awesome. And in fact, Jeremy, I call him up. He's like, done. Tell me when and where. So it's going to be a party in here for a few days. I'm pretty excited.
He is taking over the morning. He's going to be staying on to 11. He's bringing in Dan, who I've never had the pleasure of meeting. I did meet one of the other gentlemen, and I just want to say this to everyone out here that's listening. I know we have a lot of higher level traders and people, do-it-yourselfers. If you have the show on the background and you have someone new and they're like, what are you listening to? Like, what are these guys talking about? I have no idea what they're talking about. How do you understand that? Well, tell them that they're going to have an opportunity to learn from one of the best, and they will take you from the ground up and to the most sophisticated traders. And that's something that an element of pre-market prep, a stock trading network, that's sorely needed here. And, tell them to pay attention. I mean, I'm almost tempted to cancel, going away just so I can listen in. But,
I'm going to listen in. I'm going to tune in from where you got to tune in from Florida. We're going to listen to these guys. So we want to learn from Tony and Jeremy for sure.
It's going to be really fun. And we'll be sharing strategies. We're going to be sharing different methods. I'm going to walk you guys through some of the credit spread stuff that I do. And we're just going to give you everything. So we're not going to hold things back. So full strategies, full approaches, education stuff. Our goal is just how can we help you be better traders at the end of that than you were at the start? And so that's all we're going to be doing. Whether you've been trading for 20 years or this is 2 weeks into it, we're going to have something for everybody out there. So we're really, really excited for this.
It sounds great, Tony.
It's been on the docket for a little bit, and it's going to be awesome.
Let's do you want to share your screen? We'll do a little ticker time with Tony here, because they look forward to this on our every other Friday when we have Tony on here. Tony's going to share his screen right now. Get your tickers, chat. Throw out your tickers here, because Tony will give you a technical on anything, and he's one of the best in the business here. So Tony's going to share his screen right now. I'm going to add it to the stage here right now and give us the first ticker.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to remove Joel's. I'm going to add Tony's.
There we go.
Beauty.
Well, they're
First,
filling in fast. Okay.
a whole bunch from. First ticker was PayPal. Annie wants to know about PayPal, PYPL. I do too. This stock has been in the absolute gutter. How in the hell does PayPal turn its story around? PYPL.
Man, this is kind of that middle finger pattern of all middle finger patterns up through here. So
that's in Tony's textbook, the middle finger pattern. Stay away from the middle finger pattern.
Stay away from those ones. They'll get you. So we've been sideways for a long time on this one. There we go. See if I can't get this thing to actually draw. Is it this one? Nope. This one. There it is. Okay, I had to find that right button because my pen thing doesn't work on that. So yeah, it's been really, really sideways. Whenever I'm trying to figure out what it's doing, I just go to a big time frame. So on a monthly, I do feel like it's trying to base. Honestly, it can't really go that much. I guess it could go to $10, but it's fallen from grace, and it is, finding some support. So we're starting to figure out where bulls are starting to get interested again in PayPal, which is around $50 to $60, and that's right where we're sitting. So if we go to the daily time frame here, you can see where the bulls again are jumping back in around the $60 mark. So it wouldn't shock me if we did carry some bull momentum bullish here, bull momentum bullish, if it didn't carry some bullish momentum here for the next little bit. So I could see this continue to run up. We've got a fortress of a support that is broken. So again, continuation on a weakness though. Bulls built this base all year, all the second half of this year pretty much. And we broke down on it very hard. And people paid attention. Once this broke, they all sold again. So I could see this working its way back up, retesting here, and then figuring out where it goes from there. So 65 is going to be a big determining line in the sand for this stock. If we can keep getting up above 65, then it's most likely running back up to that $80 mark. If it fails, look for it to come visit 57, maybe even $50 more time. So keep an eye out for 65. Like have a line in the sand in there, put an alert there. That's going to be where we're going to figure out where we want to go here over the next probably 3 or 4 months.
Okay, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do we have so many charts in here?
I need to be quicker. I'll run through them faster.
Okay, so that was the first one. How about Tesla?
Ooh, Tesla. So Tesla just making a rip. So Tesla had such a good run here, stalled out, double topped. And remember, one of the key ingredients to have a massive bear squeeze is to get a lot of bears in the picture. This double top break down on this, everyone starts to short this on Tesla because it's one of the favorite short stocks on here. And it pulled back into this support and is just running. So this should have folded over. Once the bears put in this line in the sand right here, they've got to hold it. So once we start breaking out, as of yesterday, look out for some strong bull moves. I mean, Tesla is historic for just running without a pullback. So if you're waiting on pullbacks on Tesla, it's going to be a bit. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if this thing runs to 480 to 500 over the next week or two, pretty much to close out the year. So it looks fantastic. If this thing does pull back, bulls are going to be all over I don't know what I just pressed. Sorry. Bulls are going to be all over 440 to 435 area. That's a very strong buy. So keep an eye out for that. Bulls should be there. If bulls don't step in here, then I think a lot of bulls are going to start to exit that have been chasing. So that's the issue. Whenever we start to run, a lot of people start FOMOing in and people get over leveraged. And if it doesn't perfectly work, then people get beat up and sell pretty quick. So just be aware of that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if we even get a pullback, it's going to get bought up pretty hard in this area. And 490, 500, here we come.
Wow. I got a little more difficult one for you here. SanDisk. Okay, just a move that just ripped the Bears' face off. 40 to 280, coming back down.
What's the ticker on that one?
Yeah, SNDK, SanDisk. Is it putting in a tradable bottom, SanDisk?
Ooh, let's start big picture here. So it's really come out heavy off the gate here, off the IPO. What a fantastic runner. I love seeing stocks that do stuff like this. If we went out to a weekly or hitting the 10 EMA for the first time and bulls are showing up, which is a great sign, we know where we got overvalued. So this level right here is going to be the big tester. If we can continue to run through 300, this party is going to keep on going. I honestly think that this could dip just a little bit more. It's a little bit too obvious and it's on everyone's radar, but if it does, I think we're getting bought up. Like, this is a strong buy. We have not put in any reversal signals at all. This is a buy the dip all the way through. So no matter how low this goes, I believe you're going to find a very heavy buy demand all the way through. So really the next stop would be like 140 if this breaks. And I could see this try to trap people and then take off. Look for some type of liquidity grab on this stock. But it looks like a great double bottom. I don't believe it until we start getting above like 238. If that happens, then we should be pushing like 280, 290 on this thing. It looks really strong. It's just a matter of when is the game going to be done? And I would pay attention to like this trend line kind of coming through here. We're right at it right now. So if this week can close strong, there's a chance that it's going to start waking up and we're going to see some more bulls coming through. If not, look out for a lot of liquidity grabs here. Look out for people getting stopped out and then probably bouncing coming through once everybody's out.
Eddie from the STN room's got a value trade for you. Nike. What are you thinking about Nike here? NKE has been out of favor for a long time. I mean, years. Yeah. But it stopped going down, and that's a good sign here. But I want to know what Tony thinks about NKE.
Yeah. So I really love this price action because this is your capitulation type move here. This is just fuel, like it's fuel in the fire, right? Everybody starts shorting this. Everybody's freaking out. Everyone that's been bag holding this thing finally cut it. This was a big deal to get below that level, and then it immediately reversed up, and now we're pulling back down. So what we do here is going to be very, very important. Bulls should be holding this level. If we start double bottoming here, I'd be actually a little bit more concerned on this. Whenever we put in these traps, it shouldn't come back and visit the traps. So we've built a little support here. If this starts to rotate over, we could be going a lot lower on this thing. So look for another strong support to come in around 50. That's going to be the triggering event. I don't think Nike's going to go much lower than 50 to 40. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like bulls should be stepping in here. I just don't love this. Like, we had a great scream. That's exactly what you want to see after a trap. Pull back down. It should have held the 10 EMA and continue higher. So the fact that we kind of broke that is, it's like bulls need to get moving, but it does look like it's trying to. If anything, it might be some weird inverted head and shoulder, but we won't know that until we get above 80. If we get above 80, Nike's probably back on the board again, and we're probably pushing back 125 to 130 range. This could be a really good move over the next year or so.
We got a lot of people in the chat asking for UNH. This is one that's obviously Warren Buffett is in now.
Yeah.
It had the big run up from the Buffett. It's kind of had the Buffett hangover here in the last couple of months here because, it's come back off of those highs after everybody's so excited that Warren Buffett had bought this. What are your thoughts on UNH?
Yeah. So same story as Nike. We had the liquidity grab with the immediate run. That's what we want to see. That's the momentum builders. My friends, whenever it comes to trading, you need to know trend. Trend is going to tell you direction, bullish or bearish. Without that, you could have the greatest bull strategy in the world. If the stock's going down, you're never going to win, right? You got to know bullish or bearish. Then you've got to know momentum. This is what people don't pay attention to. Momentum is how big of a move, bullish or bearish, are we about to have? And then you need to have your setup. Your setup's going to allow you to lose small and win big. That's the key, because we don't know what trade's going to work. It's going to be a 50 to 70% win rate, maybe less, maybe more. But we just need to set ourselves up where if we're wrong, we lose small. If we win, we win big. This has a lot of momentum behind it. I love these little triggers that build in bears immediately wrong. One of the best ways to identify momentum is when someone's immediately wrong. When the bulls push and then fail. When the bears take over and then immediately rampage, right? There's like 10 different things I use for momentum, but one of those is when someone's immediately trapped and wrong. So we've got the momentum. We've got the trend. We've broken above lower highs. So we now have a bull trend. We've got the bull momentum. This needs to start to run. It should not be very hard for the bulls to push this higher now. So if they struggle for a long time, that's your early warning sign that every box is checked and nothing's happening. there's moments when the markets will rest and there's moments when the market should easily move. And this is one of those moments where I believe we should at least come back to 380 relatively easy. I'm not saying do it in one day, but if it's been a month and we are still stuck and haven't visited 380, something's up. That's what I was talking about with Nike earlier. Nike had that momentum and then it just kind of fizzled and kept on dropping and fizzling some more. And then it's kind of down here. It's a warning. It's not out of it, but it's kind of like, it's not doing what it should. We should see easy bull moves on this. So I believe probably a visit back up into 440s coming. It all depends on how well we do. And everything looks good on this one. Unlike Nike, this one looks really good. It's doing what it should. And if we zoom in here on a daily time frame, great bull move 2 days ago, retest yesterday. We're back into a buying spot. I want to see us take out this high at 340 here within the next 3 or 4 trading days. And if we can do that, we should at least push to the 200, and then we'll take care of the next test there and see what it can do. But there's a lot of bull momentum here. And so if you can understand that momentum, you can now day trade this bullish. You could swing trade this. You could sell options. It's all about understanding momentum, trend, and that setup. And people are like, well, Tony, should you just do a credit spread here? Should I buy this? It's like, whatever you want. You're trying to just see the opportunity. The opportunity is this should be a very strong move from here to here. How can I make money from here to here? Can I day trade it? Yes. Can I swing trade it? Sure. Can I, it doesn't matter which really way you do it. It's not one thing's going to make you rich. It's what opportunity is there. And then what are the pros and cons that you can accept and live with to be able to make money on that? If you day trade it, it might be one of those days that chops you out and you don't make anything. Whereas if you swing traded it, you can work through that, right? There's pros and cons to all of it. Whereas day trading, you can also make so much more money on the same move than you would a swing trade because your risk is different. Your stop's in a different spot. So accepting the pros and cons on it, that was a good little rant. But this looks really good for a bull move. Now it's just a matter of does it play out? The line in the sand on this one's that 342. Get up above that. It should easily run into that level, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, here's a name in the chat I haven't seen in a super long time, and Mark Robertson. He's asking, haven't covered this stock. FIX here, Comfort Systems, consolidating. High of the move, it's tough. $1,000 stock. Tony, give us a quick analysis on that one.
Yeah, this one is at the testing point right now. It looks very good. It's very bullish. Bulls are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's extended. Don't get me wrong, it is way up there. So this is not a fantastic buying spot, but we're going to find out over the next 2 weeks if the bulls are leaving or if they're gaining strength. This area right here will tell us a lot. Great move yesterday. And now we're getting a little bit of a gap up. We're going to come test this. What we want to see is maybe a couple of days of hesitation, but ideally strong closures on a weekly time frame. If we start getting big upper wicks on a weekly time frame up here, it might be telling us that momentum's starting to leave. Every time we get into these testing zones, we get these strong closures. This was actually a gap over that strong closure. And so perfect buying spot. There's nothing saying this has to stop. It can continue on for a long time. But it's definitely into that range where everyone's starting to take profits on this. And now it's got to figure out, is the momentum leaving or is the momentum gaining? Are the big moves going to continue or not? So that's what I'm thinking on this. It looks very bullish. I would not short this. But over the next few weeks, it should give us an idea of, are we slowing down or speeding up still?
A couple things you mentioned in this stock and in Nike and even UNH, and people fail to recognize you can have your big moves up and you can have your big moves down, but consolidation periods, if you can sit through a consolidation period, the market is giving you information where there's indecision. The bulls are here, bears are here. We got one that could be all, I don't know why the market's falling apart here. Maybe that's only me. But, what is it?
No, I don't have anything either. Just steady leak.
Okay. So this is an all-encompassing one here. I'm going to go with Coinbase and talking about Bitcoin, and that's in the red a little bit. Give us your take of Coinbase and throw in a little Bitcoin there.
Yeah. So let's see. On a daily time frame, this is something that I was watching earlier, was this little pennant pattern that was kind of squeezing through here. And the fact that we broke down, it's leading to a lot more of a bear move. So this is the upper wick stuff that I was just talking about. This is your testing level. You don't want to see big upper wicks. It's not the end of the world. Everything I'm talking about is probabilities. Just because you see this doesn't mean it has to go down. but it does increase the probability that it will go down. So lots of weakness here. When the bulls should have been strong, it's telling me the momentum's not building, it's actually leaving. And so pulling back down now, we're into a strong support. We're fighting that battle between bulls are showing us weakness, but we're at a good buying spot. So this would lower my confidence on buying this dip. And at the exact same time, people have been waiting a long time for this level to get hit, right? When this breakout comes, it's like, man, if I could just buy it here, it's already probably gone to target. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and erase this because this was the strong buying zone and no one came through. So now that that was the buying zone that no one bought, I think shorts are all over this. And there's a good chance that this might actually be trying to rotate back down just a little bit more. So that's what I would personally be looking at. This is a really good gap today as well. Bulls had a shot, gave it all back up, and now we're gapping, taking out the low of yesterday. We might be seeing some bears on this. So I'm looking short-term bearish right now. Long-term should be fine. I don't see like any major structure breaks going on long-term, but short-term bears are looking like they're starting to wake up a little bit on this stock. So that's what I'd be looking at. Short-term bearish, probably back down worst case to 240, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But not looking fantastic up here. Bulls should have been all over that. So support turns into resistance. Probably going to start to fall now.
You know what I love about Tony is he sets us up from a long-term perspective first and then brings in the short-term. Like you seem to always start long-term, look out, what's this doing overall? Let's get the overall picture here, and then we can come and start talking shorter-term strategies here. But your methodology for it is awesome. Because so many people start with like a tick chart or something. And they're like looking at it and thinking, how often are you using tick charts?
Not very often. It all depends on what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to make money over the next 5 minutes, I don't want to be on a daily time frame, right? It's not going to serve me. But a lot of the times they get so focused on one little portion of the puzzle, and they don't realize that the bigger time frames are what's really trying to play out, right? That's where the consistency is, the bigger time frame. So if the bigger time frames are saying things are broken, but on a daily chart, it's like this is the most bullish it's ever looked. It's probably going to fall bearish because the bigger time frames are not bullish. So I've learned that lesson over the years. Is like this method has served me really well. Get the big picture, and then start working my way down. Even if I'm planning on day trading it real quick, I still want to understand, did we just break a big level on what are the investors looking at? And then what are the day traders looking at? And then trying to mix them between, because it helps me find that momentum a little bit easier.
Okay, folks, you got it. Tony Pawlak, real life trading, taking over pre-market prep, taking over the Stock Trader Network. Tony, thank you so much. And I'll be checking in with you later on today. And just another fantastic segment. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Tony. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, me too. See ya.
All right. Remove it, Tony. Triple D, what are you doing to the market?
Somebody forgot the sell button on here. We've been selling off straight since the show started. Just a slow, steady grind south here. I don't have the catalyst. People are asking what the catalyst is. It's just slow and steady grind south. Netflix has been weak all morning. We know that's a source of weakness here. Oracle's been strong all morning. That's a source of strength. But really, I mean, I'm looking Mag 7-ish. NVIDIA's kind of trying to hold green. AMD's trying to hold green. Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon are all slightly green. So, I mean, I don't see anything like, whoa, what's going on here? Obviously, we've had a 9 o'clock news dump 2 days in a row. 9 o'clock is 6 minutes away. We had Microsoft bad news and then the Meta good news 2 days in a row. I don't know if we're going to get another 9 o'clock news dump here or not, but we will keep an eye on the news wire there because there seems to be these 9 a.m. news dumps lately. But let's hear a word from our sponsor here first.
All right, let's get to it. Our proud sponsor. The show is brought to you by Hive Digital Technologies, a global leader in green-powered data centers for Bitcoin mining, high-performance computing, and AI. Operating with nearly 0.5 gigawatt of renewable energy, Hive is on track to capture 3% of the world's Bitcoin production by the end of 2025. Scan the QR code on screen or visit the link in the description to learn more.
So, crypto holding up somewhat. Not a great morning for Bitcoin. We're down $1 on the IBIT, but I'd say as long as you're up above 50, we've still got that case that, hey, the capitulatory low may have been put in. Somebody was asking me the other day, what do you think about Bitcoin? I was like, you know what? We like to trade, but somebody was asking me longer term, and I think it goes up longer term. I'm still hodling longer term. I don't think the story is over here. I mean, obviously, it's all story. That's what Bitcoin is. And fundamentals to analyze here. It's just story, and people who are seeing it as a store of value. And I mean, when this has pulled back in the past, it has always been a buying opportunity. Is it different this time? I'm not going to bet it's different this time here. So is it going to 2 million like Kathy Wood thinks it's going, or Michael Saylor? I don't know about that either. But all I do know is it's always been a good idea to be looking at Bitcoin when it pulls back from 115,000 down to 90,000. Significant pullback. These 30% pullbacks have always been buying opportunities. So if you're long term, I'm going to say it's a buying opportunity again.
All right. Do you want to touch on ratings here before we wrap it up on our Brentless week?
Unity up at Wells Fargo and MP Materials up at Morgan Stanley. Those two stand out because those stocks have been in consolidation station. Well, MP Materials has been very much in consolidation station. I've been chopped up in this. I was in and out of it. I couldn't decide. And now it does look like it's trying to resolve itself from the upside to the upside. Obviously, a little bit of help from Morgan Stanley this morning. If I jump into the note, MP Materials looking at strategic importance is what they're calling the note. MP Materials from Morgan Stanley. They're raising their price target up to $71. They're citing the company's rising strategic importance in the U.S. push to build a domestic rare earth supply chain. I mean, having the U.S. government behind you is never a bad idea. And we've had a significant pullback from $100 down to 63. You're buying it here. I won't argue with you.
Just to be aware on days with these kind of ratings. Right now, the market sentiment is kind of mixed. If it was, a roaring bull, spoos and maintaining and they're ripping, I think sometimes they have a little bit more validity. Also, another key with these rating changes is what happens at the open. Like you got a lot of people that are like, I'm fading Morgan Stanley. I'm fading them on this move. So look for the pre-market high. Look for some daily highs that coincide with that. And if you're going with the momentum of the upgrade or downgrade, make sure it continues off that open.
Also, we just mentioned Unity upgraded here at Wells Fargo. That's a stock that hasn't had a rating in a while here, and it's been kind of in consolidation station here too, but consolidating up near the highs. I mean, this stock is significantly off the highs from a few years ago where we had over $200 a share back in 2021. So we've been kind of climbing back. I think if you could ever get through 50, I mean, taking, the Tony Pawlak, let's look really out, far here and just talk about, the long term first. I mean, that's really where the stock needs to get over for the bulls to really grab hold of this thing. So until it gets over 50, jury's still out, but Wells Fargo's trying to push it there. Obviously today, their $51 price target, they upgraded on a favorable industry backdrop for 2026, direct exposure to the direct payments migration with Unity Commerce. They are now modeling $55 million 2027 Unity Commerce revenues and 8% upside versus prior Create segment revenues. So Unity positive at Wells Fargo.
Well, before it proves whether or not it can hold 50, it has some work to do at 46. Multiple highs in September and 46. Didn't quite reach it earlier in the week, but just all those pesky highs here. So just trading off the highs of the pre-market session, but longer term, in order to get to 50, it's got to build a base here, a bullish base at 46. Well, Dennis, it's 9 a.m. and we made it through our first week without the Brentster.
No, we missed him tremendously, though. He breaking news for us all the time. And if the 9 a.m. news dump comes, let us know here. But because Brentster's not here covering for us, but he will be back with us, not next week, week after, I believe. But he's enjoying himself, having a little vacay, which is good. And we're gonna do the same. So me and you next week. That's why Real Life Trading is coming in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to take over the show and run. So it's gonna be a fun week. Joel will be with you Monday and Tuesday. So the party does continue here We're excited though for obviously real life trading and see what Tony and Jeremy have in store for us.
Yeah, some big shoes to fill. I will say,
Not
John,
really.
Triple
Not
D.
with me.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been sick for like a month.
I know, but hey, we work our way through it, and that's the thing. So, folks, say goodbye for now, but we'll be back Monday morning, pre-market prep. Let's hop over to the STN room and attack, which could be a choppy open here.